Hey everybody, welcome back to FSI DFS coverage of NASCAR. It's going to be the Organic CBD 325 from Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Really close to me here. I'm just outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Weather might be a little bit of rain this morning. I think it might affect the truck race more than the cup race, but it doesn't look like too bad a day. It's just cloudy, some scattered showers, not a complete washout. So hopefully we get some racing in. And Pocono sometimes has been notoriously bad with weather. It just seems like it's just that weekend. It's like beautiful and sunny every weekend around it, but just when the cars come into town, sometimes like the vortex effect or whatever, them spinning around and around and around just makes rain clouds into rain. Anyways, TK Nation is off this weekend. He's on vacation, so hopefully he's having a great, relaxing time. I know he's got a lot of driving to do, going to his destination, so hopefully he makes it there safe and comes back. So we joke that we should have a contest. If you leave the winner of the race in the chat, then you can win a chance to co-host with me for the second cup race. But then we thought that 30 people would pick Kyle Larson, and I'd have like a massive chorus with me. So that might not be the best idea. But anyways, it should be a decent race. It's a little bit different, this track. It's a triangle. It's a little bit of a skill track if drivers haven't seen it, but most of the cup drivers have been there before, either in Xfinity or in cup. So it's a 2-mile track, so there's not many laps here. There's only 130, so there's not a ton of dominator points up for grabs. So let's get into the breakdown of the drivers. Kyle Larson starts on the pole. They're lined up based on finishing position of the last race and season standings and all that wonderful formula. So with Larson starting on the pole, obviously he's dominated. He's won a bunch of races recently. He's been good. They're in the low downforce package in this one in the 550. He's been good in that speed wise. Hendricks cars have been outstanding. So I can definitely see playing him in cash. I think he's going to be very, very popular. I think I might be taking a stand on him in cash simply because this is going to be a place differential race. If he does not finish first, he's going to need to lead more and more laps. And this is a track where people will use different pit strategy because it's hard to pass to get out and lead laps. So they might be out there. They're not going to, with their pit strategies, they're not going to win the race, but it's going to put them up closer to the front and going to lead. And it's going to be hard for sometimes the drivers that are competing for stage points and competing to win this race and going by normal pit strategies and not taking a huge amount of risks, who are going to be set up towards the end of the race to do well instead of like short-term bursts to try to get out there and maybe win a second or third stage. So we've seen some outliers lead a bunch of laps at this race. So, and there's only 130 of them. So that concerns me. The other thing that concerns me is William Byron is starting right next to him. And Byron has been great on restarts. And it is conceivable that Byron gets out ahead of Larson and leads a little bit of this race before Larson catches up to him. So Kyle Larson, I'm okay playing in cash. He's not a stone cold lock for me. Has every potential to win this race. Byron, I like too, but he's more of a GPP play. Love his crew chief, love his speed. Again, it's kind of risky having him up here with Larson right next to him. So I think he's a great GPP play at 9K. Harvick and Logano are the next ones here. I think Harvick, he's starting way too high. Could he win this race? Yes. Could he get out there and dominate? Yes. Is the probability of it higher in this range of outcomes? Probably not. Joey Logano has been better at the high horsepower tracks than the low horsepower ones. So I think he's just going to fall right off here. So I'm not really interested with him. Where do I have him projected to finish here? Let me just see. He is I'm projected to finish 14th, and I feel pretty confident about that. Kyle Busch has started to put it together. He's running the truck race. He won last 2 Xfinity races, not here, but like in the series. So he's starting to get into some good form. He's 10K. He potentially could get out there and challenge Kyle Larson. I think he's had the most for him recently as a challenger. So if the right Kyle Busch shows up here, I think at 10K, I think he's a great GPP, and he's got to like Austin Hill and trucks. I think I lock him in first, always in my GPP lineups, because I just know he has the potential. I know he can put it together, but he doesn't have the floor in cash for me to be confident to do it there. Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse, and Kurt Busch are all next. Chastain at 68, Stenhouse at 66, and Kurt Busch at 84. I'm fading all these guys. Stenhouse maybe GPP. I just don't. I think they're all good drivers. And Kurt Busch has a ton of experience here. Chastain and Stenhouse have been decent recently. That's why they're starting this far up. But I just see them falling back and finishing probably somewhere in the high teens. So I think, that could. I don't see any of them scoring more than like 25 max DK points. So Chastain would be close to 4x at that. I have him finishing 11th, Stenhouse 16th, and Kurt Busch 13th. But I'm pretty scared. I know it's hard to pass here. I know that they could be decent plays at 6K. And I know if people are trying to play Larson and another stud guy who's got great place differential that I'll eventually get to, that you're going to need you're going to have only 6 left in your lineup. So these guys fit right in that build. But again, I think it's a little bit risky. Christopher Bell at 84 here. I have him as a fade. I have him finishing 13th. I think he can also get 25 DK points. Actually, I have him finishing 15th. But at 82, it's a little bit high. He's been good here. He's had speed. He's been good at flat tracks. So I think potentially for a GPP, I'm not putting him as a fade as I do have like for Kurt Busch, just because he's way too high. Chastain and Stenhouse. But I think there's a little bit of a risk there. Denny Hamlin, I like here. Denny Hamlin's had like a love and hate relationship with Pocono. At one point, they repaved the track. Like, he was great here, and then they repaved it, and then he that was like kryptonite. He kind of lost his mojo. But as it's worn over the last couple of years, I think he's getting back into it. He's been okay with the low horsepower racing, actually pretty decent. He was pretty decent with it last year. So I'm okay with him in cash at 97. I think that he's definitely playable there. I have him finishing third, 56 around 56 DK points. So definitely okay with the cash. Not saying hit the lock button on him, but he's definitely a cash play. Eric Almirola just hasn't had the speed. He's had a couple good results recently. Won the pole last week, but I just think he's a fade here. Has been great. He's 5.8 average run position first Pocono race, 12.8. So that's not bad there. But I have him finishing like 24 just based on his season. So I think that might be a little bit harsh. I think he finishes in the low teens here. 73, he can do it, but I think it's more of a GPP to fade play. Austin Dillon, GPP, he's $400 more. I have him finishing 10th. These RCR cars have had some speed here, but he hasn't been great in the low downforce package. So I think the car and the speed will be there, but I don't know. I think he'll be able to get a couple positions. 7.7 is not bad. So GPP, not exactly a lock, but I think out of the GPP plays, he's borderline cash. Alex Bowman, I kind of like him here. Mr. Vanilla, like we said a couple races ago, and he actually won that race. Never surprises you if he just secretly finishes up in the top 5. kind of like a Mark Martin to me. Like Mark Martin was always a solid driver. He was always there, always in contention, always, you know, up there in the standings for the title, but just never always got there. So he's got Hendrick's car. He's very nicely priced at 86 here. So I think that he definitely can break into the top 10 and get some place differential points. So I think he's definitely someone you can also consider in cash. Daniel Suarez, I think he's starting too high up here. He's one that his car doesn't have the speed, even though I think they have they're tied to Hendricks or RCR. So their Chevy has whatever technology they figured out to kind of make these guys faster this year, because Hendricks and RCR have been working together on their engines and their programs, and the speed has just been definitely apparent for them. And he's kind of has a tech affiliation with them also with his team. But overall, they just haven't had the speed. So they've been doing some weird pit things. So he's probably one of the ones that'll be out there leading some laps, taken away from Kyle Larson. But I just don't know. I have him finishing 19th, have him about 20 DK points, so about 3x value here. But he's one of the ones, if you're trying to play Larson and one of these other place differential guys down there that you might need in your lineup. So he's right in that price range. So right there you have Chastain, Stenhouse, and Suarez is some options. So Martin Truex Jr. is at 10.7. He's starting 15th, and I think people look at him for place differential. I think he's more of a GPP play. Okay, I'll let the cat out of the bag here. And if you follow NASCAR and DFS, you probably know Chase Elliott is going to be the chalk play here. He is starting 29th. He got disqualified from the last race because he had 4 or 5 loose lug nuts on his car. So his result was thrown out. So that way, if they go by the last races, that's why he's starting down in 29th position. He's only $300 more in the Truex. So I do not see many people playing Martin Truex Jr. at 10.7 when you can pay $300 more for Chase Elliott, who's probably going to get about 60 DK points with place differential. I have Truex at about 50. I have him finishing 7th. So I think he's a GPP. I think he's a great contrarian play. If you think Elliott, who isn't having the great season that he did last year. Yes, he has one win, but I have a conspiracy theory that was a rain-shortened race, and I think that they kind of called it when he was leading in that slop fest at Texas road race there. That was just a monsoon. I think, they gave him the win, so they definitely NASCAR locked him into the playoffs, but I don't know if he'll be able to win another race the rest of the season. Even though he's in a Hendricks car, it just seems like he's just got the championship hangover big time. But Truex has been good. He's been better outside of intermediate tracks. So he's one that I think that people will kind of overlook if they're looking at the playing Chase Elliott. And I think he has very low ownership, not low ownership, he'll have medium ownership, but I think he's a great GPP play. And I think definitely can get up into the top 10. I think he can maybe lead some laps. So I think he's definitely a solid play. And that's not because he's my daughter's favorite driver. I just definitely think I believe in him. And he's got some pretty good history here at Pocono anyways. Tyler Reddick, I don't know. I look at his some of his results here, and he really has not done good at this track. But the Childress cars have been fast. There's not really a high groove here. So I'm kind of on the fence with him. I think he might be a fade even at 7.9. I think he's starting a little too high. I think there's many drivers that are going to get out ahead of him. I have him finishing 26, which I think might be low. I think maybe 20 or 21st. So I think I'm out on him this race. I don't hate you for playing him, but price is a little bit higher than I want to pay. And I'm looking at his results in similar tracks and stuff. I think he's going to struggle here. Michael McDowell, he's better at super speedways, not this type of speedway, but 56. I think he's starting a little too high up here. So I think I have him finishing 21st. So he's only losing like 4 positions. If you need him at 56, I'm okay with that. But I think he's a GPP play. Brad Keselowski, he's in a good spot here. I know TK loves him. I think probably TK will be playing him a bit today. 9,500 is not a bad price for him. 18th place differential, and I actually have him finishing 5th here. So I think he's definitely a cash play. Not gonna say he's a lock in cash, but definitely someone to consider. Lots of positives here. He's been very good out of the Penske cars. It seems like he has been the best in the low downforce package. Logano's been better in the high downforce package, and Blaney's been somewhere in between, but has just had his struggles this season overall. So Brad Keselowski, definitely like him here. Ryan Newman, 5,800. He's dropped, I think, over like $1,000 since the last race. I know he's like at the twilight of his career, but he's still hard to pass. He's got a lot of experience at this track. Roush Fenway's cars have some decent speed, so I think I have him finishing 23rd. But I think he could actually be like a cash lock play here at 58. People are going to need this if they're trying to jam in Elliott and Larson in the same lineup. I think he's going to be very popular. I think he's pretty safe. Like I said, it's hard to pass here, and I think he knows the track and everything. I think he can definitely stay in the top 20. Bubba Wallace, he's driving the DraftKings car this week, and I think actually he might be a cash play here. He hasn't been great at this. I think he's finished around 20th most of his races at Pocono. Last year, I think he was 20th and that's 17th for average running position. But at 6,100, I'm willing to play him in cash here. I don't know. I just have a feeling. There's nothing scientific, nothing in the data or anything. It's just a gut feeling that Bubba Wallace is going to do well today. So I'm actually going to play him in cash. Matt DiVincenzo is $1,000 more than Bubba. He has actually been good in this package. He's been good at this track. So I think you can play him in cash here. 71 is a little, but I have him finishing 12th. I think he's definitely a top 15 car. So I don't really have anything bad to say about him. So I think he might be not in people's budget if they're trying to play Larson and Elliott. So I think at 71, he's priced kind of out of where they'd be able to go unless they play some 6K guys and drop down to like a Mike Medal or an Anthony Fredo or like a complete punt option to get him in. But I think if you're playing Elliott and like another cheaper stud like Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin or Keselowski or Blaney when we get to him, I think that DiVincenzo fits nice in that lineup. Eric Jones has had some speed here when he was in the Gibbs cars, but this car just isn't as fast. 64, I think he fits in that same price range as Stenhouse and Chastain, but I think with the place differential here, he's a better play. So I think he's GPP borderline cash. Corey LaJoie starting too high here. He's a fade. Anthony Alfredo, same thing. Kush Busher, I think he's a great cash play, but he's having GPP just because the price at 8K is just a little bit difficult. I see him as a top 15. He could be a fringe top 10 play. Definitely been decent at this track and in this package. So he's someone that I think could be very sneaky with everything you get here with the place differential and some of his best results this season being at in this package. So his average running position was 13.7 at Pocono 126, but maybe he had some issues. And I know he crashed out of last week's race and like lost me a lot of money, but that was like such a unique thing at this Nashville track. They'd never been there before. They didn't understand how the brakes would get so hot that they would explode and burn tires and, completely blow up parts of the car and make them not be able to race. Like his car looked perfectly fine. Blaney's car did not look bad either when he had the same thing happen to him, but brakes not going to be an issue here. So I think I like him in cash at 8K, but I think he's going to be priced above where people can afford him. So I think in a build without Larson, he is a great play there. Cole Custer, I think he's going to be super popular in cash here at 63. He's right at that sweet spot that you need because you're going to average having 6,600 left if you try to play Elliott and Larson. So he's in the sweet spot there. He's at 63. He's a great play at that price. Stuart Haas Racing, decent. He's been okay on these flat tracks. He had a 20.5 average running position at Pocono 1 last year and 13.9 at Pocono 2. So I think that he's definitely somebody to have on your radar. Now we have the Ryan Blaney. He's going to be the second one that I lock in the cash. I'm going to go, my locks for cash are going to be Elliott, Blaney, and Newman. I think they are really, really strong plays. I know Blaney has kind of struggled a little bit this year, but I think he can get up into the top 15. Definitely get some place differential points. It wouldn't surprise me if for something they do like pit strategy just to try to kickstart his season and get him up there for one of these stages to lead and get some points. And he's been decent at Pocono. Just seems like some of these races got to keep him away from his teammates because they tend to run together and wreck each other. Hasn't happened in a couple races. So Ryan Blaney, I definitely love him. But I understand if you want to go up to Keselowski, who's a little bit better in this package, sacrifice the place differential, but have somebody that's having a better season for less money. He's definitely priced for where he's starting. Chase Briscoe, I think he's another one in the 6K range that you can play that has some upside that, he's still a rookie. He did well here in Xfinity last year. He had a 5.8 average running position. So I think that he can get up into the high 20s, if not like maybe a little bit above 20. So I think he's definitely a cash play here. Chase Elliott, we already went over. He's my lock of the slate. Smithley, I think he is a little bit too risky here. You're at 4.6. I'd rather have him starting like 35th on back. Ryan Preece, I think he's going to be super popular. He's in that price range too. He's 6,200. He's running the truck race here. He won the last truck race at Nashville, but he's always struggled at this track. 19.4 average running position, 22.1 last time. I have him finishing 31st, right where he starts, only getting like 10 DK points. But like I said, I think he's going to be super popular. I'm going to be underweight on him unless I need him because I ended up in that price range. But I think I'm rather take Bubba Wallace in this one. I just have a feeling on Bubba. BJ McLeod, Bullocky, fade. Haley, 5.9's too expensive. Rather find a couple hundred more for like Corey LaJoie seems to be more reliable, or Bubba, or even Michael McDowell starting higher up and save 300. I just don't think I'm on him. Cody Ware, no, he struggled every series on this track. James Davison, maybe could get up to like 28th there. Quinn Huff, Timmy Hill, no. Fade for me. So that kind of wraps things up here. So we'll watch this race and then we'll be back. I'll record tonight. This is Saturday morning right now. It's for the Cup 2 preview, and that one's they're going to invert the top 20. So the fast cars that won the race are going to have great plates differential. So it's going to maybe make some chalkier builds there. So again, I think the big decision is do you play Larson? I am going to be underweight on him. I'll probably have him in like 1 or 2 lines, but primarily I'm going to consider probably going Elliott, Blaney, Newman as my core, and then might consider using Brad Keselowski. I'll have Truex in GPP. Kind of my gut dark horse feelings is like William Byron. I think he might win this race, and but he's still risky to play up there at second. And for some reason, I feel Bubba Wallace gets the top 10 today. I don't know why. I just a weird feeling. So appreciate you guys watching. Leave some comments below. give me a shout out on Twitter. If you guys have any questions, we love interacting with our fans. And we need you guys to subscribe to our channel. That's just be so great. Like, we're just looking at like over 70% of you guys watching that don't subscribe to us. And it just helps us out, because the more subscribers we have, we can get this video out. Like, we do this for free. We're trying just to help you guys here. And we just want to, I know you guys want to keep all the secrets. Like, if you think we're doing like really, really well and you don't want others to find out, like, because we're your secret weapon, we appreciate that too. But, please just do us a solid and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us succeed at what we're trying to do here at FSI, just to try to get free content in these videos for all different types of sports and formats to people, to help them become better DFS players. So again, thanks again for watching Mega Ruler 31, and we'll see you for the Xfinity race and for a Cup race too. Good luck today.